Hey guys, CR Classics here, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a bit of an update on where I think we're at with the car, where I want it to get to, what sort of standard I want it to get to, where I feel that it's finished and we can think about moving on to a different adventure, and just how far it is off really where I want it to be, and a few of the little jobs that I want to do, definitely that I've always wanted to do ever since I've had the car and ever since I saw the car. So it's just going to be a bit of an update for you guys, so hope you enjoy. So guys, as far as the interior goes, that's probably the most work we've done. When we got the car, there was no carpet in it. All the footwells, or down here, was down to the fiberglass. It was full of water on both sides, and there was a dashboard in there that was old and cracked that I've still got in my garage, which I'm going to do something quite cool with, which there'll be a video quite soon about. So that had to come out, which you'll obviously have seen. None of the dials worked, all the wiring there was no order to it whatsoever. It's just been, the whole loom had just been thrown back inside the car. The foam was coming out of the seats, so we've had to restore those. We were quite lucky that the top of them has been in quite good condition, but underneath they were quite rough. The centre console wasn't in, there was no under dash trim. Obviously I had the wrong wheel in there, but now we've got a lovely new wheel from Jacob Engineering, which really does make the car look a little bit closer to being finished now, I find. All here, all the headlining, that wasn't in, that wasn't fitted properly, that was sort of just tucked in there, so we've had to refit that really. I did think about getting that replaced, but I think the cost just didn't really add up to me. All of these back side panels here, none of those were fitted, so they all had to come out and be restored. There's still a little bit of work that needs to be done to the vinyl on them, but they're getting there. And it's just all fiddly bits in here really, and it's just putting stuff back in the place where they should be, and making sure we get all of these dials working, because there's a lot of dials in this car, as you can see. So the ones that aren't working at the moment are engine temperature is going straight up to its max as soon as we start the car, which we checked with a like a temperature gun, the laser gun. And it's reading completely the wrong temperature. Rev counter, that's one I really want to get fixed, because it actually looks lovely and we have taken it out and there's nothing really wrong with it, but we only had a quick look at it for about 20 minutes because we were focusing on the speedo and getting the right angle driving while we were doing that, so that's something that needs to come back out. We also need to hide all this wiring. We've got the parts that we need for that. You'd probably be asking why Eldridge Trimming didn't do that, because they did fit these lovely bits under here which look lovely, which look really nice, but obviously the dash isn't finished, so it's going to have to come back out, or we're going to have to be able to get behind it. So it didn't really make sense to seal everything in with the big pieces of under dash trim, only to take them back out again. So we're not really going to put those on until the dash is finished and ready to be sealed up. Which shouldn't be too long, but it's obviously the wiring is just something I can't do. I'm not confident enough to do it, I haven't got enough knowledge to do it, so someone else is doing that, and it'll have to be done after this lockdown ends. So that's holding us up a little bit. Obviously there was no door cards on the car, they've all been done, they look lovely. There were no electric windows and they now work beautifully. So yeah, the interior is coming together. It's not quite where I want it to be, but it's coming together slowly but surely, and I'm sure you'll see a massive difference compared to what the car looked like when we first got it inside to what it looks like now. I know it doesn't look mint, but yeah, when you compare the two, it looks a hell of a lot better now. So that's the interior. So guys, body wise, there isn't really anything wrong with the car whatsoever. I think there's only two, I think, or three tiny little micro blisters that aren't really in visible spaces for me to show you. that I can find, they're just on sort of the bottom side of the car. I think there's one right at the front, but I think that is just because it was kept outside for the time that it was, not really covered up properly. But the actual quality of the spray job that it had done is quite high, and I've spoken to the guys who actually sprayed it, and we bumped into them at a show, and he said it actually broke his ankle while he was spraying it. It fell off one of the jacks and broke his ankle, which is quite funny. So he always remembers the car, not necessarily in a nice way, but he was very nice. He was very nice about it, and he said how good she looks, and told me all about the job that they did. But it still looks quite good. The only thing I would change, which I have mentioned loads of times in previous videos, is the roof, and that's because it's in the cream, not the metal flake. The previous owner sprayed it in the cream along with the bumpers to contrast with it. I'd like to take it back to the metal flake personally, but I've been talking to a few guys and I'm yet to get a sort of solid price of what it costs me to do and how much work's involved. So if any of you guys know anyone who does it, or if you do it, or if you know how much it costs, or if you've had it done, anything like that, please comment or get in touch with me, because I just need some information about it really. And yeah, just how it's done, how much it costs, if I can do some of the prep work, because I know rubbing it down is the thing that takes up most of the time. So yeah, anyone else out there who knows anything about that, or who's had their car sprayed, please get in touch and let me know. But yeah, like I said, the body's in quite good condition. There's no, I won't need to be spraying it anytime soon. Even the roof is in great condition, but it's just not the right colour, which is a massive shame because they've done such a lovely job of it. But the bumpers are definitely going to be done at some point, and they're going to be chromed maybe as soon as we come out of isolation really. And then it all depends how they look with the maroon and the cream roof. It might just be a bit of a, you know, mismatch of colours, but we won't know until they're done. So yeah, so that's the body. The body's as close as it can be really without doing the roof and doing the chrome to where I want it to be. I think I've done everything I want it to do. The wheels they were diamond cut about 6 months before we bought the car, and they were put back on it, so they don't need to be done. They look really, really nice. But yeah, exterior wise, I think it looks great. So guys, engine wise, I'm quite happy with how it's actually running at the moment. It's running better than it ever has. We've had a few sort of rough periods where it's been in and out of the workshop, and sometimes when we've had it in there for 2 or 3 months at one point, and we've got it out and she really doesn't want to go. So we've had to change a few things. We had a few electrical issues with the distributor. We had to change the plugs, leads, things like that. But we haven't really had any major issues. There are a few little tiny things I want to do. I want to get her on a rolling road and see sort of how much power she's still got, just to see what's in there, because it feels like there's still quite a lot of go in there, and everything seems to be tuned quite high and quite to quite good standard. And she's not losing any power in any gears, so it feels pretty how it's supposed to really, and she sounds sweet. But there's just a few little things in here. I mean, it's just a tidy up really. There's a few things I want to get out and paint, like the radiator. I want to get this little air intake out. I want to give the carbs a little scrub up really at one point. Clutch, just give it a bit of a blast really. And these little rusty master cylinders here, I don't mind getting those out. But it's just aesthetic things. It's really, there's nothing really wrong with it. She runs like an absolute dream. She hasn't let us down yet, touch wood. Yeah, so the engine, is up to a standard that I'm happy for it to be. Yeah, when I've just spent a few weeks cleaning it up, it'll definitely be, I'll be 100% happy with it. One thing you guys may or may not have noticed, you may have been a bit too kind to notice, is this little engraving here. Well, I say engraving, it looks like someone's swung at it with a knife or something. Basically, I've been trying to find some history of the car. This is when I first got the car, and I was told that the body number of the car is usually located in this area, and I've had some measurements, so I chipped off a tiny little square back to the fiberglass to see if there would have been a number there. I didn't find anything, and it's now left quite a scruffy looking little hole basically in the engine bay. It's something I seriously regret doing and wish I hadn't done it, because it's not that easy to fix. Obviously you've got to get the paint matched and everything and then repaint it, put some fiberglass back in there, especially as I didn't find anything as well. That's quite annoying. So the history of the car is still sort of a bit unknown. I did contact Lotus and they were quite helpful, but they also struggled to nail down where it was from, what sort of life it's had, who was the first owner. The main thing I want to know is who the first owner was. So if anyone else out there can help me with how you find the first owner, if there's anyone else I can talk to who's a bit more helpful, that would be really, really appreciated by me, guys. So yeah, because the cars, I think we've got history back to late 70s, early 80s, I think. But the very early, for the first years of the car is a bit of an unknown really. So that's something I definitely want to find out before I let this car go. But yeah, so engine bay, relatively happy with it. Just a few aesthetic things that I want to touch up and get out. But yeah, happy with the engine bay. So guys, as you can see, she really isn't that far off being finished. We took a lot of risk with this car and I never thought she'd be anywhere near how she looks now. When you think about what we risked, we didn't know she was going to run. We couldn't get her to turn over when we first went to see the car. Even the mechanic there couldn't get her to turn over. So if she hadn't been running, we would have to sell her as a non-runner and we would have lost quite a bit of money. We didn't know if it had the right chassis on it, if it had been replaced, or if it was still a Lotus chassis. If it was a Lotus one, that would have had to be replaced, as they don't really tend to last very long, and the Spider is the better really alternative to the Lotus chassis. The paintwork has come up really, really, really well. It's a shame about the roof that it's slightly the wrong colour, but apart from that, the whole finish on it is brilliant. So I don't have to do any paintwork, which would once again would have been a lot of money. So yeah, it's been a hell of a journey with this car. I had a little vision in my head of what it would look like, and I never thought it would look even close to this. So that is a really, really amazing achievement. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I've enjoyed showing you guys and talking to all the Lotus enthusiasts out there. Every one of you have been so helpful and given me such amazing information and advice. And yeah, I'm not really sure what to do next really. A few of you have been saying that I should go on another adventure with a completely different car, and a few of you have also been saying that I should just keep this one, and I'm lucky to have this one and I should never sell it. Be one of those cars that you keep for life. So I'm not really sure what to do, so it'd be interesting to know what the rest of you guys think about that, because I'm in a bit of a sticky situation with that, because I do absolutely adore this car and I want to get driving it a lot more in the summer in this lovely weather, when we're allowed back out on the roads. Obviously stick a GoPro on and show you guys all that we've been working towards really all through the winter months in a cold workshop. So yeah, so I'm not really sure what to do. So I know there's a few of you guys out there that have started off with a restoration job and have worked your way up to your absolute dream car that you never thought you could get to. So I'm very, very tempted to do that, but then I also love this car with everything in me. So it'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on that, guys. But apart from that, please keep commenting, liking, subscribing, all that good stuff. I'm trying to get to 200 subscribers on YouTube before the end of this isolation period. That's sort of my little goal. That would be amazing if we could do that. So please do hit subscribe if you see this video. It means a hell of a lot to me. Apart from that, guys, thank you for watching. It's been CR Classics, out.
easier for me if I turn away to flee. Oh.